Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rugby Park. It's finished full time. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 2. This is the post-match reaction. Nicholas Kuhn and Kasper Schmeichel help steer Celtic back to the top of the league. My name is Ryan McGinley, and today I'm delighted to be joined once again by Tony Haggerty. Haggerty10 on the X handle. It's at the Ryan McGinley for myself. Tony, what did you make of that game? It was a hard-fought win, but Celtic get the 3 points, and that's all that mattered.
Job done, Ryan. I think that's what you can say. And I made a point of mentioning to Brendan Rodgers in the after media press conference, goals win games, defences win titles. That's what we were speaking about, wasn't it, when we were watching this game today? That was one of those games today. I felt that Kasper Schmeichel was outstanding. Austin Trusty, Liam Scales were very good as well. Kind of repelled everything that came their way. And you've got a bit of class in the form of Nicholas Kuhn up top. 21 goal contributions, Ryan. 10 goals, 11 assists. He's the earliest candidate for Player of the Year that I've ever seen in Scottish football. His numbers are frighteningly good. And if you wonder what the noise is, it's the man's got the machine out, isn't it, Ryan? He's driving around the periphery of the park as we look down. But yeah, delighted with that one, because I think the manager himself said this time last year Celtic would have been in a bit of a sticky wicket and probably in bother.
Yeah.
But they managed to see it out, didn't they? And got the 3 points in the end, as you say, back to the top of the league.
They certainly did. Yeah. If you just bear with us a little second here, I'm just trying to put the microphone actually on, because it would help if I put the microphone on before we start a podcast. It seems to have connected it, but
Not working.
No, 2 wee seconds. 2 seconds, guys. I just click this on. Let me just refresh and go back into it. 2 wee seconds. So everybody's saying that they can hear us through the stream, so we'll just probably talk through the laptop. I'm going to use the mic in case it comes on halfway through. But yeah, 2-0 to Celtic, Tony. Sorry about that, guys. If you want to support us just a little bit more, we'll do that before we start talking about the game. If you want to support our work, you can join our YouTube members channel for just £2.99 a month. Receive early video access, priority comments, and exclusive members chat function. On there, you will get pre and post match from us, as well as video analysis and any interviews that we do from now until the end of the season. Become a member, £2.99. Also press that subscribe button, and yeah, get involved, guys, and help us and support us just a little bit more. So it was a very difficult game this afternoon / evening. I would say that Celtic were under the cosh for large parts of the second half at least, but they got the job done in the end, Tony, and it was another big 3 points. And they had 2 players in particular to thank, who we've named in the title of this video, in Kasper Schmeichel and Nicholas Kuhn.
Kasper Schmeichel was excellent today, absolutely brilliant. And that's what you pay in terms of quality for, obviously, the goalkeeper, but Kuhn as well. Wasn't Kuhn's best game by any stretch, but he came up trumps with a brilliant goal to make it 2-0. And there was never any doubt where he was putting it when he latched onto Johnson's long ball in 70 minutes, clinched the game, gave Celtic that breathing space. Yep, there was hairy moments. Marley Watkins hit the post. Kasper Schmeichel was proving to be unbeatable. An unbelievable save from Matty Kennedy, diving down what he's left and one-handed puts it around the post. But yeah, and that's why he's there. The manager will tell you that. That's why Nicholas Kuhn's at the club as well. But you know, delighted that they came through that today, because it was this period last year where they faltered against Kilmarnock and Hearts, wasn't it? Back-to-back football matches around about November time, wasn't it? So, and funnily enough, we're playing Hearts as well in our next one at Tynecastle after the resumption at the international break, and the resumption after the international break. So it's been a good period for Celtic, Ryan. You can now just kind of press the reset button, recalibrate, reflect. As I said, the opening podcast, the pre-match podcast, nothing been achieved yet, but it's ticking along nicely. And as the manager's fond of saying, they are in a good place.
They certainly are in a good place, and he was quick to allude to that at the end of the game in the post-match press conference. What did you make of the team as a whole today, Tony? I know that there was a couple of changes. Adam Ida started up front. Arnott Engels was in the midfield alongside Rio Hatate and Callum McGregor. Callum McGregor got the opening goal despite Ida's best efforts to try and put it in for himself. It was Callum McGregor that got the goal. And then in the second half, Nicholas Kuhn came up trumps. I think he was quite disappointed with the first chance that he had. That he didn't put away. Second chance, my goodness, he didn't. He didn't let up there. It was a great finish. That top end speed that I think we've been talking about with Nicholas Kuhn, we've seen it in full swing. I think you see it more so when you watch the replay back, because you can see him starting to motor, and he doesn't look. I don't think he looks absolutely rapid all the time, but he just showed enough there to get past his marker, and it was a tremendous finish. It was an elite finish from an elite player at this moment in time.
Once he advanced into the penalty box, you knew where it was going, and there's nothing you can do about it. Kilmarnock put a lot into that game today. Excuse me. I think there was elements of tiredness amongst the Celtic midfield for their midweek exertions. Granted, and you saw it in the Hatate's play today, Engels' play as well. Thought Corey and Daba had a wonderful game up against Arne Engels, and slight concern in terms of Adam Ida. I don't think he had his first touch and his distribution can be better, but he always showed he tried to be an outlet. I think his kind of tempo was set when he missed that early chance. So it was a bit of a mixed bag for Adam Ida. He did some nice things as well, but he teed up Nicholas Kuhn twice for efforts at goal, and he's quite robust. But first touch and distribution were a bit awry today. It was kind of polar opposite of the game that he played in May when Celtic clinched the title. Everything came off for him that night, and he looked great today. But he did, as I say, he didn't hide, and he still showed for it, and still wanted it, and tried to be that focal point and attack. But conversely, Kyogo came on and he affected that game really, really well. I thought him and James Forrest were excellent. Forrest's ball retention and he's, just the way he ran it. I thought the last 20 minutes after Celtic scored the second, they saw it out pretty easily in the end, Ryan. So, hindsight's a great thing. The manager went with the same midfield, but there was elements of tiredness there. And Rio Hatate, it was his pass that put Celtic in bother for Marley Watkins' chance that came off the post. Just different stuff like that. And as I say, Ndaba got the better of that physical battle with Engels. But I'm allowing for the fact that these guys put everything into Tuesday night, and I know they've had 4 days rest, but still, and we always get back to it, don't we? The surface is the greatest level of Scottish football whenever teams play Kilmarnock at Rugby Park, and Kilmarnock were bang at it today. They contributed to a decent enough spectacle, I thought, but just, winning ugly is part of football, and Celtic won ugly today, but they grind it out in a way that you just think, well, they're still, even when, they're under a cosh for long spells, they can still break out and punish teams the way Kuhn did. Kyogo could have scored a third later on as well, so pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm pleased with it as well. And Brendan Rodgers made a big point in the post-match press conference. The full Q&A you can check out on the Celtic Way website if you haven't already done so. He said that it was probably a game that Celtic probably could have lost last season, and he made a point that the first 6 months there was that awkward time when he was just getting used to being the Celtic manager, and the players were getting used to having him. First of all, the players that were already there before were getting used to him being back, and the players that were used to working under Ange Postecoglou were getting used to his methods.
Yes.
So they would have, and they did lose a game like that because they did go ahead. Remember Matt O'Reilly's goal that he scored? And then they lost 2-1 thanks to a calamitous defensive performance in the second half. Remember in particular Nat Phillips, if you don't want to bring back any memories maybe for people, but it was not a great second half performance. No, it wasn't his finest hour at all.
Now, and I'm going to answer this question. John Clement's coming in. Didn't see them watering the pitch, John, no, but again, it's Kilmarnock prerogative to do that, isn't it? To water it or not. It looked, as it looked on the telly, it was pretty sticky, wasn't it? And I think that's what a lot of players were finding difficult. Ida found it difficult, Engels found it difficult, didn't they? They kind of, a couple of times they kind of fell on the surface, didn't they? So, yeah, I didn't see them watering it. Ryan, you can tell me if you saw any water being put in it, but I don't think they would have wanted to do that because the slicker the pitch, the better it is for Celtics football, really. So I think that was a deliberate ploy not to water the pitch and getting about Celtic. Kilmarnock almost got joy from it, but not quite.
I didn't see any watering of the pitch. I can't remember any watering of the pitch. But do you know what? I completely agree with you. It's completely up to Kilmarnock, and if they find an advantage, I mean, Celtic Park's an advantage for Celtic before a ball's even kicked because of the atmosphere. The atmosphere was good today. It wasn't completely full. The stadium, which maybe is a wider question, but that's entirely within their rights to sell the tickets that they want to sell. It was a full Celtic Park attendance. It was a difficult game to sort of watch and rate players on. The player ratings will be coming out in the next hour or so. There wasn't a lot of past maybe 6 or 7s out of 10. I think if we're going to talk about one player in particular, it's got to be Kasper Schmeichel, because
excellent
at 1-0, he had saves at 0 each, but at 1-0, he kept Celtic ahead in that game. It is a game that Celtic would have dropped points, but I think they have significantly, and I don't mean this as a slight in Joe Hart, but he's now got a full. The portfolio is there for Kasper Schmeichel. He is a better shot stopper. He is also a better passer of the ball. I think he's maybe not the same sort of vocal presence at the back. But he doesn't need to be, because I think his aura and his reputation sort of exceeds him. If you get me,
I was very confident that Celtic wouldn't concede. You weren't, so you were quite pessimistic, and you felt that had Kilmarnock scored, there could have been a repeat of that Nat Phillips game that you
absolutely
alluded to.
I think if they scored one, they would have scored two on the day, Tony.
Yeah, I was still more optimistic, and I felt that Celtic would punish them at some point. Because they were still creating, albeit, when their attacks were a bit more sporadic in the second half, but they were still getting forward to good effect whenever they could. So I was a wee bit more calm in that, but you were convinced they were going to concede. But the reason I thought they weren't going to concede was because I just thought your man Kasper Schmeichel was in imperious form again, and when Matty Kennedy missed that chance, which was a huge chance, I thought, right, that's it, Celtic will go on and kill the game now. So and that's how it transpired. But yeah, I can understand your being worried for a spell, because Celtic were under the cosh for large spells in that match.
Yeah, they certainly were, but they managed to hold on and then score that second goal. I called it a dagger at the time, a proverbial dagger it was in the contest, because at one goal, Kilmarnock thought they could get back in the game. It seems as if all the intensity of the game just dropped after that second goal. And I've got to give a massive credit to the players that came onto the park as well, because I thought they were all individually very, very good. Ralston came on and was winning headers. Luke McCowan was coming on and taking the ball and wanting to be positive. He probably should be getting more game time than what he's got at the moment, but it's just, well, as Brendan Rodgers said after the game, every player will be called upon in these next few months. So
okay.
Listen, guys, we're going to have to head off. It's closing up at Rugby Park. But thank you very much to everybody for joining us on today's show. Sorry about the technical issues and the audio issues as well. But the main thing is Celtic won the game 2-0 thanks to goals from Callum McGregor and Nicholas Kuhn. They go level on points with Aberdeen, but top of the league with a vastly superior goal difference on 31 points. We'll be back tomorrow to discuss everything on the morning briefing alongside Hamish. Thank you very much to everybody that's subscribed. If you want to subscribe and become a member, press that join button just at the bottom of your screen, and we will be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your night, and another 3 points for Celtic. Cheers, guys.